Covert narcissists are often more subtle than their overt counterparts, but their manipulative behavior can still be damaging. This video will explore 10 key signs of a covert narcissist, including their tendency to gaslight others, play the victim, and engage in passive-aggressive behavior. Understanding these signs can help you identify and protect yourself from toxic relationships. Number 1. Rejects criticism. A narcissistic person's thin skin is a curious paradox. While they may exude an air of invincibility, their self-esteem is fragile and deeply rooted in the admiration of others. A single critical remark, no matter how subtle, can shatter their carefully constructed facade, triggering a defensive spiral of anger, denial, or projection. Psychologically speaking, this stems from a narcissistic individual's deep-seated fear of inadequacy. They often compensate for this by projecting an image of superiority. When confronted with criticism, which challenges this illusion, they experience a threat to their self-worth. This perceived threat can lead to a range of defensive behaviors, such as gaslighting, blaming others, or becoming overly sensitive to perceived slights. Number 2. Passive-aggressive behavior. A narcissistic person's passive-aggressive behavior is a covert weapon designed to maintain control. Rather than directly expressing their anger or frustration, they resort to indirect tactics like sulking, sabotage, or withholding affection. This allows them to inflict emotional pain while simultaneously avoiding accountability for their actions. It's a subtle game of power, where their passive-aggressive behavior becomes a silent threat, forcing others to tiptoe around their fragile ego. Number 3. Self-deprecation. A narcissistic person's self-deprecation can be a surprisingly effective tool for manipulation. By downplaying their accomplishments or belittling themselves, they can elicit sympathy, admiration, or reassurance from others. This seemingly humble behavior is a carefully calculated strategy designed to reinforce their sense of superiority. Self-deprecation becomes a form of emotional blackmail, forcing others to validate their worth and bolster their extremely fragile ego. Number 4. Withdrawal. A narcissistic person's withdrawal can be a powerful weapon of control. When faced with criticism or disappointment, they may retreat into a silent, sullen state, leaving their loved ones and friends feeling confused, guilty, or abandoned. This withdrawal is a form of emotional manipulation, designed to punish others and force them to conform to their demands. They may stop returning calls and block you completely. Simply put, they are cowards who long for control and attention. Keep in mind that when this type of behavior occurs, it is most likely because they have found a new supply elsewhere, and you aren't very interesting to them at that moment. Narcissists may use stonewalling as a way to punish others, manipulate situations, or avoid addressing their own issues. Number 5. Grandiose fantasies. Grandiose fantasies serve as a defense mechanism for narcissists, shielding them from underlying feelings of inadequacy or inferiority. These fantasies allow them to create an idealized self-image, often involving extraordinary achievements, fame, or power. By immersing themselves in these fantasies, narcissists can avoid confronting their insecurities and maintain a sense of superiority. It's a way to escape the harsh realities of life and live in a world of their own making. Number 6. Inadequacy and shame. Despite their outward appearance of confidence, narcissists often harbor deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. These feelings can stem from childhood experiences of neglect, rejection, or criticism. To cope with these insecurities, narcissists develop a false sense of self-worth, often relying on external validation and admiration. Their grandiose fantasies and manipulative behaviors are attempts to compensate for their underlying feelings of inferiority. Extreme immaturity ensues throughout their episodes when confronted with anything they consider to be offensive to their ego. Number 7. Envy. Narcissists often harbor a deep-seated envy of others, a feeling they may go to great lengths to conceal. Beneath their facade of self-assuredness lies a gnawing insecurity that can be triggered by the success or happiness of others. This envy can manifest in subtle forms of sabotage, gossip, or passive-aggressive behavior, as they attempt to undermine the achievements of those they perceive as a threat. It's a dark undercurrent that fuels their competitive nature and can lead to toxic relationships. Number 8. No empathy, selfish. A narcissist's lack of empathy is a direct result of their inflated sense of self-worth and their inability to see others as individuals with their own needs and feelings. They are primarily focused on their own desires and goals, and any consideration for others is secondary or non-existent. This lack of empathy allows them to exploit and manipulate others without remorse, as they view them as mere pawns in their own covert chess game. In the grand scheme of things, if the covert narc isn't getting anything from someone, they have no use for them. Number 9. Hold grudges. In yet another form of emotional manipulation, the covert narc will hold a grudge against anyone they perceive to be their enemy. They harbor resentment and bitterness to anyone who they feel slighted them in any way. Remember, they don't feel they are ever wrong, and it's always the other person who attacked them. Their plans against their perceived enemies can vary widely, but often involve a combination of passive-aggressive tactics, social isolation, and character assassination. They may spread rumors, gossip, or lies about their enemies, attempting to damage their reputation and alienate them from others. They may also engage in ghosting or withholding affection, seeking to punish their enemies and maintain a sense of power. Number 10. Playing the victim. Narcissists often play the victim as a manipulative tactic to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. They may exaggerate their problems, minimize the impact of their behavior on others, or blame external factors for their difficulties. By portraying themselves as the innocent victim, they can elicit sympathy, avoid accountability, and maintain their inflated sense of self-worth. This tactic is a form of emotional manipulation, designed to control the narrative and shift the blame onto others. Understanding the signs of a covert narcissist is crucial for protecting yourself from toxic relationships. By being aware of their manipulative tactics, you can recognize the red flags and take steps to safeguard your emotional well-being. Remember, it's okay to prioritize your own happiness and set boundaries with individuals who exhibit narcissistic behaviors. Thank you for watching, and please consider liking if you enjoyed the video.